5 days. 5 days. Oh. We're all working hard. We got to win. We can't let that alternative win. That would be a disaster for our country. So I want to just say a very big hello, Nevada. We're doing great in Nevada. And I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hard-working American patriots, and you are that. You are that. But I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question, very easy one. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I come today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the massive criminal, and you see it, the criminal invasion. Some horrible, deathly people. We're not going to allow it. They're destroying our country. We will stop it immediately. And I will bring back something that you haven't heard of for about 4 years. We're going to bring back the American dream, and I want to just thank you. You're going to bring it back. And that's all you really need to know. And remember, Kamala and Sleepy Joe, they broke it. I will fix it, and we'll fix it fast. And we're going to have America that's bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. And, you know, we're doing fantastically well in the polls. And I want to thank a man who's with us. And I said, Joe, you got to go because he's got some big stuff going on, and we got to win this thing. He's heard my speeches before a little bit. But you have a great governor here, Joe Lombardo. And where is Joe? Where is Joe? Thank you, Joe. Is it okay? Can he go and do some business so that we can win and he can take care of some young people that are incredible and love him? Joe, thank you very much. So you go home, Joe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Great job. Joe Lombardo, everybody. Thank you. He's a good man. This election is a choice between whether we'll have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure or whether we'll begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back fast. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country. That's not an easy thing to do when you see these clowns, these horrible, horrible people we have, these horrible people we have running our country. I'm asking you to dream big again. Dream big again. This will be America's new golden age. That's what we're going to do. A golden age of America. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. This is a very big state for us. This is a very big state. I love it. I'm here a lot without campaigning, but I want to tell you this is a big one, and it looks awfully good. It looks, I don't want to say, just keep voting, keep voting. You got to get out and vote. On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough. You can't take it anymore. She's horrible, the worst there is. There's never been anybody worse on the border. She's the worst. She is the worst vice president in the history of our country. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. The worst. Horrible. Horrible. She is horrible. And she lies. Every time she gets up, she tells a lie. Donald Trump will not allow fracking. That's the first, by the way. I won't allow. Donald Trump will not allow drilling for oil, which is going to make us rich as hell. No, he doesn't. No, she lies about everything. IVF, she lies. I feel like I'm the father of IVF. She lies about everything. She's worse than Crooked Hillary, actually. You know, Hillary was a lot smarter, and she lied a lot, but this one lies about everything. She just makes it up as you go. We've been setting records in early voting, as you probably know. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. But we can't let up. In-person early voting in your state ends tomorrow. So get out and vote. But the main thing is you gotta vote. You gotta get that Tuesday is a very special day. It's a big day, and we can close this thing out. We're leading for the first time, I think, ever, right? We're leading in early voting for the first time ever. That's right. Never happened because, as you know, Democrats always lead in the early part, and the Republicans like to go there on Tuesday, and I understand that you want to see your ballot go into a box. I'm not even sure you see that with this craziness that we have, but we're going to get it all changed. But we're doing really well, and to be leading in early voting is unprecedented, so that's really great. So it's an honor. And if you can't make it tomorrow, you got to make a plan. You got to be there on Tuesday, everybody. Who has not voted? Whoa. Whoa. Who has voted? Wow. That is great. Wow. Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you. Look at that. Oh, I'll bet I'd like to know what casino you work for, huh? Look at that. That's great. So those that haven't, get out and vote. Every vote counts. Thank you very much. With your help, we're going to win Nevada. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. Kamala. And we're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to make America great again, right? Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. She's violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions, from all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo. Today I want to hear directly from a mother whose world has been absolutely shattered. This just came out, and everybody that sees it is like devastating. And there's so many things happening like this with the illegal migrants, so many killers. We're not going to let it go on. Please watch.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends.
Yeah. We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She filled Jocelyn. She was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
Thank you very much. So sad. Thousands of people all over our country. This is constant. These are some really tough people, some really bad people coming in. They make our criminals look like nice people. That's how tough they are. They are just so bad. The jails are being emptied into our country. Jails from the toughest countries are being opened up and let in through her stupid open border policies. Totally unvetted. Nobody knows who they are, where they come from. Countries you've never even heard of. The day I take office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. And I believe it's the biggest problem. Biden and Harris. You can't say Harris because nobody knows who Harris is. Nobody knows. You say Harris, nobody knows who the hell she is. But that's great. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. The savages charged with brutalizing and murdering Precious Jocelyn are members of the same vicious Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua. And they're taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, where you have a governor who's petrified. He's a radical left lunatic, and he's petrified. He doesn't know what the hell to do. He's lost. I call him a lost sheep. And they're unleashing a violent killing spree all over America. The United States is now an occupied country. Can you believe I have to say that? We're an occupied country. They're coming in, and they're by the thousands, and they have equipment that's military-grade equipment. How do they get that? They have military-grade equipment, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We're going to get them out. We have no choice. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. They are conquering areas of our country. They're conquering. We don't know, and nobody wants to talk about it. And the fake news, of which there is a lot back there. Whoa. It's a lot. They don't want to write about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to. They'll write about it after the election. No, they don't want to write about it now. And we'll put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail, or we'll kick them the hell out of our country. We'll want them out. Through our open border, Kamala Harris is also actively aiding and abetting the worst human traffickers, child smugglers, drug dealers, and bloodthirsty criminal networks on the planet. There's nobody worse than what she's catering to. They even have an app number where to call so they can dump off illegal migrants. They have an app. Can you believe it? They have cell phones. They have airplanes flying over the border loaded up with migrants that they're dropping all over our country. The cartel's profits have soared from relatively minor numbers to $13 billion from human trafficking alone under border czar. She doesn't want to be called border czar. She was the border czar, but you know what? She was in charge of the border. And by the way, the Border Patrol, they endorsed me very strongly. They even said I was the greatest president in the history of our country. Now, I said, does that include Abraham Lincoln? Does that include the great George Washington? They said you're the best president, and you're the best president on the border. We had the best border. Drop that, please. Drop my all-time favorite graph. Do you mind? I love this. I sleep with this. I kiss it. I kiss it. Oh, that saved my life, I guess. Without that graph, I wouldn't be here right now. I looked over to my right very quickly, and I noticed there was a little problem. A little bit of a problem. Lunatics, we got lunatics out there. But that says it. The last day that I was in office was the arrow on the bottom. That was the lowest day in the history of our country for illegal immigration. That was done by the Border Patrol and ICE. And then it became like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at that. Look at what happened. That was the lowest day we've ever had in terms of illegal immigration. By the way, the drugs were equally low. The whole thing was so good. All that guy had to do is leave it. He went to the beach all the time, right? He could have gone to the beach, but he went to the beach, but they made changes. Instead, remain in Mexico. I got things that nobody could come into our country. They had to remain in Mexico. I think Tijuana might have been the fastest growing town in the history of the world. Hundreds of thousands of people, but they weren't in our country, and we want people to come in, but we want them to come in legally, right? We want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. We don't want murderers and drug dealers, and we don't want them to open their prisons. Think of it, they're opening their prisons and dumping them on us. But every day they're stealing innocent lives on both sides of the border, both sides. Just days ago, a young U.S. Marine Corps veteran named Nicholas Quetz from Arizona was driving through Mexico very routinely. Who would think this could happen? For a beach weekend with his great friends. Yet everybody loved him. He had a lot of friends. When he was viciously gunned down on the highway and murdered by members of a Mexican cartel. And we're joined today by Nick's wife, Carrie, his father, Douglas, his mother, Patricia, his sister, Alexis, and his brother-in-law, Phil, and they're beautiful people. And if they'd like to come up, I'd love to have them just to honor their beautiful boy. I'd love to have them. Come on up. Go, good. That's great. This is a great family, a perfect family, and what happened to them should happen to nobody.
Hey, so unscripted, I really wasn't planning on being here. A few weeks ago,